Good afternoon. A man is critically ill in hospital after being shot early today in Southampton. Police say the two men who carried out the attack were probably responsible for another shooting in the city 2 days ago. Guy Phillips reports.
The shooting took place in St Mary's Road in Southampton shortly before 3 o'clock this morning. The man was blasted at close range with a sawn-off shotgun. Police have recovered the weapon, which was broken up and dumped near the scene. The attack has been linked to another shooting which was carried out in the same area on Friday night. The victim of today's shooting has undergone emergency surgery in hospital.
The man injured this morning is critically ill. The first man is not so seriously injured and is up and walking. But someone is obviously out there who's very dangerous, and we want those men behind bars as soon as possible.
The two men they're hunting are black. One is aged between 24 and 30 and was wearing an orange duffel coat. The other man is about 6 feet tall. Guy Phillips in Southampton for Meridian News.
A woman has been treated in hospital after being overcome by fumes in Chelsea this morning. The fumes were apparently leaking from a shop beneath the taxi office where she was working in Chelsea High Street. A first-floor health club in the centre of Bognor Regis has been destroyed after fire swept through the building early this morning. More than 100 firemen tackled the fire at the Images Health Club on Belmont Street. A passing taxi driver spotted smoke coming from the roof of the club shortly before 5 o'clock and raised the alarm. No one was in the building. The cause of the fire isn't yet known. The Portsmouth-based training ship Argus will sail from the Marchwood military port near Southampton today on her way to Bosnia. More than 300 soldiers from the south will join the Royal Fleet Auxiliary vessel when it leaves for the Adriatic this afternoon. And now, a look back at the week's news for the deaf from Meridian with our signer, Wendy Ebsworth.
On Monday, the south coast was hit by the worst floods of the winter. A combination of high tides and strong winds brought flooding to Sussex, Hampshire, the Isle of Wight and Dorset. The seafront at Southsea took a battering. At times, the 20-foot waves crashed over the sea barriers. Homes and shops in Old Portsmouth were on alert, people using sandbags to stem the tide. At Cowes on the Isle of Wight, a 50-metre section of the sea wall was broken up and washed away. And at Lymington, the high tide saw the water surge 2.5 feet higher than normal. Quayside shops and the Ship Inn pub were cut off for a time. On Tuesday, parents in a Wiltshire village claimed their children were being put at risk by having to travel to school by public transport. A minibus calls every morning at the village of West Grimstead near Salisbury and takes children as young as 4 to their newly opened primary school 3 miles away at Alderbury. Many parents are refusing to let their children on the bus. They say it's not safe to allow them on public transport unaccompanied, and they want a proper school bus.
They could be abducted at any time, molested at any time. Anybody can get on this bus and take the children or do what they wish to them. They're just not supervised.
Wiltshire Education Department says many school children already travel on public transport. It has encountered none of the problems envisaged by parents. On Wednesday, we reported that a motorist tried to abduct a 13-year-old girl as she walked to school in Southampton. Catherine Harrop managed to fight her attacker off after he'd stopped his car to ask her directions. She was only 5 minutes away from her home when the attack happened.
As I leaned over into the car, he grabbed at my neck and my collar with my shirt, and he held onto my wrist. And then he put his hand up my jumper and ripped my shirt open. And he tried to open the door and he tried to change his grip at the same time, and then I got away. I picked up my bag and I just ran into school.
Ark Royal finally left Portsmouth on Thursday, bound for Bosnia. The aircraft carrier will be playing a key role in providing sea and air support for British troops in the war zone. Families and friends of the crew gathered to watch the 20,000-ton ship sail. Also on Thursday, it was announced that 270 men of the Royal Artillery based at Lark Hill near Salisbury are to be mobilised. They will sail to the Adriatic, ready to move their guns into Bosnia at short notice. This frightening array of weapons came to light on Friday. They were confiscated by police outside a cemetery in Portsmouth. 50 teenagers from 2 local schools were preparing to do battle at a recreation ground, but police were tipped off and disarmed the youngsters before anyone got hurt. Finally, Salisbury General Infirmary is closing after nearly 200 years. Staff and patients are moving to a new site at Odstock, 2 miles away. It's cost £30 million to build the new hospital, and it's taking 8 days to transfer everything across.
And that's the Meridian News this Sunday lunchtime. I'll be back with an update at 6:15.
The weather for the Meridian area for this afternoon and tonight. Mostly dry for the rest of the day. This afternoon cloudy with occasional bright intervals. The high 10 degrees Celsius, turning cooler throughout the afternoon. Tonight dry, cloud thinning and patchy mist later. The low 2 degrees.